2024. Thank you for attending this evening. First off, we'll take a roll call. Kat Berry.
Here.
David Harwood.
Here.
Melissa Pickett.
Here.
Doug Matheson.
Here.
Pete Green.
Here.
Okay, all are in attendance. If you would, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, council approval of minutes, January 9th, 2024, regular meeting minutes. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, how do we vote?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
And Pete?
Aye.
Okay. Approval of minutes, January 9th, 2024, closed session. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Okay, how do we vote?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
And Pete?
Aye.
Okay. And approval of minutes, January 29th, 30th, and 31st for the winter retreat. Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay.
Aye.
Kat?
Aye.
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 Pete?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Regular agenda adoption. Do we have any changes, or are you all amenable to the agenda as it is set forward?
I'd like to.
Yes, Doug.
I'd like to ask that we add a closed session at the end, reference to General Statute 143 -318 11.3, please, sir.
11.3 or 6?
3.
Okay, all righty. That is added to the agenda. That's closed session, so do you suspect any decisions be made, or is this just for discussion?
No, discussion on it.
Okay, all righty, so we have that added to the agenda, and we got that, Hillary? Okay, great. All right, consent agenda, budget amendment 2024-04. Now, there's no discussion for this, so do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Kat?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
And Pete?
Aye.
Okay, the consent agenda is adopted. Public comments, if you would like to step up and speak for 3 minutes. Okay,
Mayor, point of order. I think we need to vote on the regular agenda adoption.
yes. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Motion, we have a first, second.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay.
Aye.
Kat?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
Pete? Okay, thank you, David. Had a fleeting moment there. All right, back to public comments. No? Okay. All righty. Next section is the public hearings, comprehensive plan review, and adoption. So, Brian Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, council. I'll be brief. Ms. Martin does have a presentation for the comp plan for you. I just want to begin by the update started in early 2023. We had multiple subcommittee meetings, had 2 well-attended public open house workshops, and we feel like we got really good feedback from those. The last step was back in February 18th. The planning board unanimously reviewed and approved the plan as it was. And after tonight's public hearing, council may have discussion. Any recommended modifications can be made. Also, to facilitate The plan is a final document in front of you. You do have the draft plan, and there's also a draft resolution, 2024-01, for your consideration to be read and for final approval. That being said, I want to thank Benchmark, Jason, Vaughn, Bridget. They put a lot of work into this, as well as the subcommittee. And with that, I'll turn it over to Vaughn for his presentation.
Okay. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. It's good to see you all again. Some we've been seeing for a very long time. It's really good to see old friends coming back to Rolling Rock. The purpose of the comprehensive plan is multifaceted. It's a community-based vision for the future of your community. It's a guide for land use, growth, redevelopment that occurs in your community over time. It helps you guide your capital investments if you're doing water, sewer upgrades, making investments in your streets, as well as other community initiatives that you might have. And one of the big differences between 2014, the last time you adopted a comprehensive plan, is that now that having a comprehensive plan in place is required, it's required to have one and for it to be maintained on a regular basis for you to actually exercise your land use regulatory authority under the general statutes under 160D. Brian mentioned we had a good steering committee in place during the process. Some of you on the council were on it, had some good planning commission members and others in the community that participated in the process. Very good input and oversight throughout. The timeline, Brian also mentioned, we started back in April of 2023. I believe it was around the day that Shane had announced his departure from the town. It's always very interesting beginning a project as you're changing leadership. We did background research over the springtime and had our first public input meeting in June. And I'll talk about that a little bit more when we get to a little bit further down the line. We prepared a draft of the comprehensive plan between July and October and had a public input meeting for the draft plan on October 30th. Through that process, each time we met with the community as well, the steering committee got a report back. Many of them also attended those meetings, but got a report back and made adjustments to the plan moving forward to address any concerns, constructive comments that we received from the community as well. Finally, we prepared a final draft of the plan. Mentioned that was presented to the planning board. They did unanimously recommend approval of that to the town council, and we're finalizing this process with the public hearing with you this evening. Again, public engagement, that June 19th open house that we held back behind us here, had about 40 people come in person to encourage greater participation. We also made the same activities that were available at the public meeting available online, invited people to participate that way as well, got another 50 or so people to provide additional comments through that. So almost 100 people in total commenting on the plan and engaging with us in that early portion of the process. The second meeting that we had, public input meeting, we actually had here in the council chambers, also very well attended. The plan was, of course, more well formed at that point, had recommendations in the different focus areas. I got a lot of good feedback during that process, got a lot of written comments during that process, and working with the steering committee, incorporated a number of those back into the plan to address the community's interest in the direction of the plan. The plan content is fairly straightforward. There's an introduction that goes over the planning process, establishes a vision, the focus areas of the plan, how to use the plan, how to keep it maintained and updated. We also have the central section talking about our community that goes through the various background research we developed during that early phase of the process. And then our future details, again, the vision, objectives, and strategies for the plan, and how you implement the plan over time. One of the things you will notice, those of you who are very familiar with the 2014 plan, is that the total number of strategies that are included in this plan is fairly slimmed down from what we did 10 years ago. There's a lot of great stuff in there. Some of that came through and it helped inform this planning process, but we really wanted to focus in a little bit more narrowly this time so that there was more that could be achieved on a proportional basis of what was recommended in the plan. The vision statement, the steering committee, we worked with this vision statement very, very thoroughly, going over several iterations of it over time. Essentially, it's the shared vision for the future of the town of Blowing Rock as one of a vibrant mountain resort community that welcomes all with its charming authenticity and unique sense of place. There's some additional statements that back that up. There's also a set of focus areas related to downtown connectivity, development, and municipal services that underlie that overall vision for the town. We'll go through some of those, through those objectives and some of the supporting strategies as well. So the downtown objective is that we are to preserve and enhance downtown Blowing Rock as a vibrant cultural centerpiece of the community. That has 14 strategies underlying it, including doing things like revising the zoning and architectural standards to differentiate between East and West Main Streets, providing technical assistance to the owners of historic properties, studying potential improvements to the intersections of Sunset and Main, implementing the downtown parking management study recommendations, and considering a downtown municipal service district. For the connectivity objective, that is to ensure that all residents can freely move in and around the town through a variety of transportation modes. That has 9 strategies underlying it, including things like developing and implementing a community-wide pedestrian and bicycle master plan, requiring the preservation of greenway corridors in conjunction with the subdivision or development of property, and supporting the construction of the Middle Fork Greenway, the completion of the Middle Fork Greenway, and developing plans to extend that trail through town. The development objective is to manage the appearance, location, and characteristics of future development so that they complement and enhance the town of Blowing Rock. That has 15 strategies underlying it. One is to review and amend the parking requirements in the land use code, things like satellite parking to make it more effective, amending building height standards for the town center and central business district, and exploring grant opportunities for things like stream bank restoration and trail development. In the development recommendations or the development section of the plan, we also have a future land use map, basically establishing what the extent of different types of land uses will be in the town. This essentially is intended to preserve the existing land use patterns you have today. No surprise with the downtown area encompassing your town center and downtown zoning districts, Valley Boulevard remaining a commercial development, and the majority of town being residential in nature. The final objective, being the municipal services objective, is that the town is to continue to provide high-quality public services to the Blowing Rock community and advocate for the improvement of services provided by outside agencies. There are 8 strategies under there, including maintaining adequate free parking for residents, developing, maintaining, and improving stormwater management, coordinating with Watauga and Caldwell counties to improve ambulance service and response times, and exploring the establishment of a public enterprise fund for stormwater. So those 4 primary focus areas are the objectives of the plan underlying that main vision statement, and that's where those strategies come into play, that relatively shorter list of strategies this time around, but hopefully ones that you can achieve in the implementation of the plan, coupled with your future land use map, using that to help guide you as you're making those investments in the community and capital improvements, establishing new programs, establishing new policies for the town, moving forward through the horizon of this plan. And I'd be happy to answer any questions or take any comments before you open it up to the public.
Council? Okay. We're in a public hearing mode. Do we have any of the public that would like to make suggestions, comments? Okay. Council? Pete?
Brian, if you could, just want to ask you a question. Are you satisfied that the plan reflects everything you think needs to be in there?
I do. We were very thorough after the open public houses. And the subcommittee spent a lot of time on this. So I think there's a lot of good feedback and response from that was addressed after the meetings. So I feel like we've got a good plan in place. And I echo what Vaughn was saying is a narrowed approach to this that's more achievable, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Brian, you feel like with this now, that it will make it easier to go back and change, or do we need some of our downtown codes and ordinances?
Say it one more time.
All right, do you think now we need to look with the comprehensive plan, would be easier about changing and looking at some of our downtown ordinances.
Sure, sure. Yeah, and I think the intent is to, get the downtown subcommittee back together and start that process as well. That'll feed off of this. So I think we've got the framework there to start that. And we've had good feedback from that based on the downtown.
Council? All right, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any additional discussion? Okay, the public hearing is now closed. Thoughts, council?
I just want to thank Benchmark. It's great working with it. It's, again.
Well, I want to thank all of those that were involved. You did a great job. I think that this plan is a little more targeted and focused and doable. And so thank you. Thanks for all those that were involved. Yes, Pete?
I would echo what Doug said, having worked on the 321 highway thing on that effort. You guys are good. You really performed, and it's a great help to the town to have your expertise, so thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And thanks to Brian and all the rest of the people that were involved.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
I want to commend Benchmark too, was heaping praise on you. But we've used them for several different things. The comp plan in 14, our signed ordinance, the 321 study. They capture what the community is driving at. You know, you could just lay a template down and put every community's information together and it come out the same, but they don't do that. They've cater it to who their community that they're working with. And they've done a great job. I'm pleased to partner with them again. And, once you get a foot in the door, it's kind of hard to go with somebody else, but they've done a great job. And I really appreciate the work they've done. The subcommittee was really strong. And that was the backbone of moving forward with this plan.
Look forward to them in 34.
Yeah. We'll see.
All right, so I will read the resolution number 2024-01. Resolution to adopt the Town of Blowing Rock 2024 Comprehensive Plan Update. Whereas the comprehensive plan is a policy document created to assist in making decisions concerning the physical, social, economic, and environmental character of a community, and provides a process to accomplish various community goals. And whereas a comprehensive plan is used as a guide for local government policy, zoning decisions, and serves as a means to identify, prioritize, and plan for capital improvements. And whereas a comprehensive plan provides guidance to citizens, developers, and anyone concerned with the growth of the community. And whereas the Comprehensive Planning Subcommittee, Planning Board, Board of Commissioners, Blowing Rock citizens and staff have worked to develop a vision statement and comprehensive plan update that includes focus on downtown, connectivity, development, municipal services, with implementation strategies within to address land use and community character, economic development and tourism, transportation and connectivity, municipal services and infrastructure, parks and recreation, natural and environmental resources, and future land use over the next 10 to 15 years. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners of the Town of Blowing Rock, North Carolina, that the 2024 Comprehensive Plan Update is hereby adopted by this resolution. Now, I do request a vote from the council, and so do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have 2 seconds. Any additional discussion, council? Okay, Kat?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
And Pete. Okay,
Aye.
so the resolution is adopted. All righty. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Moving right along here. Regular agenda, RFPs for the tank maintenance. Jared? Right. How are you, sir?
I'm good, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Good evening.
Council. I'd like to offer you folks a summary of our request for proposal process for the annual water tank maintenance contract. To provide a little background, the most recent contract that the town had for water tank maintenance was allowed to expire around 2018, and I know that's 5+ years ago. Since that time, only minor maintenance activities have occurred on both water tanks. That's Green Hill and the Clearwell at the water treatment plant. And that's, repairs to minor concrete spallings, some screen replacements, that sort of thing. No real intensive maintenance endeavors have taken place since then because you haven't had a contract in place. So working with town staff back in 2023, we developed a request for proposals for a 10-year annual tank maintenance contract with an option for a 5-year renewal. So a total of 15 years should you elect to award the contract. On December 15th, 5 solicitations were emailed out to tank maintenance contractors. Bids were due back on January 25th, for which we received 2. We have since reviewed those, and included in your council packet, we have a summary of those submitted numbers. The submittees were American Tank Maintenance and USG. And as you will see, as far as costs, there is a significant difference in costs. It appears to be two methods that the contractors use to price those. I mean, if you analyze your annualized costs, one appears to be higher, but the total 10-year contract number is significantly lower. And as such, the 15-year number is also lower, whereas the other contractor priced year 1, year 5, 10, and 15 substantially higher, which includes that inside and outside cleaning every 5 years. We have also included an alternate for recoating of the water treatment plant Clearwell in year 1, should you elect to award that. I also need to say in the last page of this section of your packet, while reviewing the bids, we noticed that one of the contractors had several mathematical errors in their submitted bid. That did not affect the outcome. They were still higher, but we noticed years 5 through 10, a 6-year period, there were minor to significant math errors in what they had submitted. So I'll be happy to answer any questions. Yes, sir.
So we will be getting it cleaned year 1, year 5, and year 10.
Yes, sir. And that's interior and exterior. And the provisions in the RFP include interior cleaning with the tank full. So that's diving and vacuum equipment.
And so they will do interior inspection every 5 years?
Yes.
How often will they paint the tanks, exterior?
We have only included that in year 1 as an alternate for actually coating. They will clean them.
The exterior?
Yes. Exterior will be cleaned and inspected yearly.
Mm-hmm.
Interior will be cleaned every 5 years. Coating in year 1 as an alternate. And that's only for the water treatment plant Clearwell. We have not included a recoating of Green Hill.
So is that calculated in these numbers you give?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Can you clarify what coating means?
Working with Tnemic, who is an industry standard for industrial coatings, we worked with them to develop that coating spec. So it requires cleaning all of the contaminants off the exterior and going through a 3-step process to essentially repaint the concrete. Now, of course, you can't repaint spalling concrete, so it includes concrete repairs, crack identification, and then depending on the severity of any exterior or superficial cracking, they would either add more material to that or use a tape, much like a drywall tape, that would be embedded down in a layer of coating and then sealed over with 2 more additional coats. So it's really a 3-step process for the exterior coating.
So all of that is in that 58,770.
Yes, sir.
So that's turnkey. If there's cracks,
Yes,
they take care of it,
they take care of it.
even if it's structural. Okay.
Charlie?
When they clean a tank, do they take it offline? So in other words, would they clean the Green Hill tank, take it offline,
It
And
will
use the
remain-
clear well?
It will remain in service at all times.
Okay.
Divers and vacuum equipment, and that sludge that is removed from the tank will be vacuumed out and shouldn't interrupt your water supply.
Okay. Pete?
Jared, who oversees this work? Is that you guys, or is that the town?
It'll be a combination of staff and McGill reps. And also with the coating and then the cleaning, they're required to have certified staff on site as well that we would coordinate with.
Okay, thank you.
Doug?
Is there could you see anything else that may have caused such a huge difference in the bid?
No, I don't want to speak to their bidding rationale, but it appears that that one contractor has really bumped up the number for the 5-year cleaning cycles, whereas the other has included that in their annualized pricing.
But in the long run, it was still apples and oranges, right?
It's an apples to apples comparison, yes.
Right.
Yes.
Jared, is this any way dissimilar from other comparable tank cleaning that?
No, it's very similar to, of course, you know, your tanks are concrete. Other folks have elevated metal tanks, and process would be a little different for the base substrate, but otherwise no. And they have a list of references and similar clients included in their bids, which you can certainly review. They work with, you know, other municipalities here in North Carolina, City of Hickory being one. So that's relatively close.
And-
Which vendor works with Hickory?
American Tank,
Which is the low bidder?
correct.
Now, you may have said this, and I just didn't catch it. Did you say that they're not bidding on coating the Green Hill?
Correct. Exterior coating for Green Hill was not included.
Could that be addressed at a later date? Sure, good.
Sure.
Yeah,
If the council so chooses to approve this evening, are they approving a 10-year with a 5-year extension? What are your thoughts on that?
I would approve the initial 10-year and then see how the contractor performs over that 10-year contract before I elected to renew for 5.
I'm sorry,
Additional
Doug.
5.
That's right. You kind of tied in what I was going to ask. You referenced these and feel good with this company.
Yes.
the 5-year renewal is part of the contract, but you're not obligated to.
Right.
We
Not
can just see how they
obligated,
perform and
but the price will hold through that additional 5
So
year.
they will hold that price. Okay. Okay, if the council so chooses, how soon will they put the coating on the tank, the clear well?
That is highly weather dependent.
That's understandable.
Temperatures cannot drop below 40 degrees for the coating to be applied correctly.
July. You might get 40s in June. No, probably May or June.
Council?
I'll make a motion to accept the bid from American Tank.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Any additional discussion?
Thank you, Jared.
Very well.
Okay. David?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
And Pete?
Aye.
Okay, Eric, thank you so much, appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
I was getting ready to go down there, see if I grab Doug one evening, go down there with a paintbrush and paint that thing.
About tired of thinking.
All right. Summary of 2024 winter retreat. Kevin?
Okay, Mayor and Council, just a few, I'm going to share the top 10 list and then a few other details from what came out of the retreat. I'll first say that I appreciate all the staff and all the work that they poured into being there during the retreat and bringing all the information requested and being able to give y'all what you needed to formulate opinions and create a strategy going forward for this coming year. And appreciate them a lot. And I appreciate you too, as you, I think it was very successful. We had our marching orders when we left on Wednesday, and we were able to cover a lot of topics and come up with the priorities for this coming year. Again, these priorities is what you have established right now, but will be dependent on the budget and how we can allocate funds towards these things. So starting out with the top 10, number one, we voted, as you remember. There were two number ones, but I had to list them, which ones was mentioned first. So first of all, downtown paid parking, implementation of a project by November of '24 to initiate installation and then bring paid parking forward to begin in April of '25. And we will bring things for you to make decisions on as we move forward in the coming months. And out of that, there will be budget ramifications to fund this on the front end in '24, '25, and then realize some revenue at the end of the fiscal year, and then hopefully moving on that we can recoup those costs. Downtown parking expansion, paid parking is just one part of the puzzle. The other is where can we have additional parking? And how can it be best utilized and make sense for people coming into town? And so McGill is going to assist us with that and try to find some locations that might be possible and have a strategic plan for additional parking in the downtown. Number 3 was Memorial Park improvements, phase 2 for the bulk of the park. You've asked us to secure funding options for up to the full project with $2.1 million plus minus in that area, and come up with some options for you to consider later on this year. And then realize the $500,000 Part F grant, which the expiration is in January of '25, but if we're underway, we feel like we can certainly get an extension for that grant process. Mayview Lake Spillway, we've got some issues there, and McGill's going to also assist us with coming up with a low-cost repair solution down there at the lake. Number 5 was overall employee pay and benefit evaluation. We'll begin working on that, present that to you through the budget process. Number 6, town website, explore options to improve the website functionality or create a new website. It has some issues, and we want to be moving forward with something that we can, 1, be proud of, 2, that's functional and is also compatible with smartphones, and so that you can find what you need with ease, and that is clear and concise and get the information for people, for the public. Tank maintenance, check on that. We did that tonight. That was number 7, and so that's good. We've already started on the list. So that's good. Number 8 was stormwater utility. Present options to bring back to you for a new stormwater utility and funding in fiscal year '24-25. Number 9 was cemetery, and to look at options for Section 8. Given the condition of the soil out there, traditional graves are probably not, don't make sense, and so we're going to see if there's some partners out there for mausoleum or columbarium options. I don't know how you would describe that, but we'll see if there's some options for that. And then number 10, sidewalk master plan. And McGill would provide council with a cost of development and long-term plan for new and existing sidewalks, and included in that would be maintenance of what we currently have. Beyond that, some other things we talked about and brought up, landscaping on 321, the contract's coming to an end in July of this year. And so we're looking to renew with estate maintenance if we can come to terms on what he's proposing for the next 3 years. It's a 3-year contract, and we're gonna, they've done a good job. Estate maintenance has done a really good job. And if the price is right, we'd like to we'd like to move forward with them, but if we've got some negotiation, we'll see how that goes. If not, we would start that over with another RFP and see if there's somebody else that can provide that service. The police department, and they're going to continue to enforce speeding in neighborhoods, still utilizing the radar signs and respond to complaints to determine where and if we need any traffic calming devices in certain areas, and also determine a criteria which defines what speeding is, and let you have that opportunity to, with the police department's recommendations, and see if that fits what council's desires are. Cybersecurity, as we talk in IT, cybersecurity and related employee training is going to be very important for us in the coming months, and we want to kick that off soon.
You might want to hit Parks and Rec. You flipped over Parks and Rec.
Well, I didn't have anything checked there. I didn't. I just checked. I'm just hitting a few things.
Okay.
Not everything.
Okay.
And then in planning, as we even talked about tonight, getting I call it getting the band back together, but getting the Downtown Land Use Committee together to discuss amendments to our code to begin work in collaboration very soon, and following the impetus of the comp plan that we just adopted, and start with concentrating in downtown. How can we anticipate growth and write the ordinance that divides Main Street from east versus west, and treat the rest of central business in a way that development moving forward knows what the requirements are, and even simplification can be part of that. But we'll start that process very soon. And then the last thing that I was just going to mention tonight was street right-of-way maintenance. We want to bring some specifics back to council so you know what our code says and how we plan to handle maintenance of our right-of-ways and clearances and intersections going forward. So that's just a few highlights in addition to the top 10, and I'll be glad to answer any questions or fill in any blanks.
Council? Okay, all right. We don't require any motions for this, or this is your work plan, so.
If we check off one each month, can we take November and December off?
Absolutely. We'll get after it here.
All right, we good with it? All right. Moving right along. Citizen board appointments. Now, council, Ms. Hillary has the ballots. And come on down.
Of course you did.
Blue, because blue's easier for me to see.
Oh, no black.
No purple. I can do purple, I just thought black.
Doug, you gonna sign your name to this?
Yes,
Oh, I know.
outwardly trees.
Hillary saw where I was going with that one.
Since you don't,
Thank you, sir.
I'll take one of those.
Circle, check,
This is
highlight.
gonna be one of those where she announces the vote's been conducted by Hubner and Deal, you know.
Perfect for you. What do you think about a little TDA? So on the public land, Hillary, council, should we put acknowledgement off to the side on which individual for 3-year and which individual for 2-year term, okay?
Put a 2 or a 3 inside.
Yeah, okay.
Because we have 2 new members from Shaker Church.
I'm not signing.
You've been talking to Albert.
Yeah.
Thank you, Albert.
Essay.
Yes. Why am I giving it to you?
I don't know.
One more clarification, if you can also remove the Board of Adjustment, indicate who you want for full-time and who you want for alternate. I'm sorry.
Give me that back.
I think that's the only other one that had a weird thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna start over because I don't.
And behind the what?
We can't read them anyway, they bring his glasses.
I hear you. Would y'all pass that down?
Here.
But that's a good course.
Oh,
Are you in your class?
that'd be
You're
good.
doing ethical.
Does our attorney have to acknowledge this and certify the vote?
I didn't see any political signs for any of these offices. I'm surprised.
When she slipped any ballots in.
Pete. Can you, write which one on the Board of Adjustment you want to be alternate and which one full member on there? Just put an A or a F, I'm sorry.
Just flip it. That's the new album.
You.
Is it? Says 1 year. Get up. Just keeps.
I had some music.
Does it come that way or?
Give me a shot.
I'll order it off Amazon. Hey, everybody knows it's fine.
Yeah. No doubt.
I forgot to put mine up here. I know mine's beautiful. I tried the iPad thing, but I can't make notes. I'm old fashioned.
Do you make to-do lists? Do you do them right around?
Both. So I make it at night with my phone. I use this, you need to do it. This is how I do it. I print it out when I get to work in the morning, and at the end of the day, those dates off. They make fun of me at work.
Everybody in my office uses. I see them.
I do too, Charlie. How dare you? Have you seen those? I don't know those. They call them desk buddies. They're like this long, this wide. It's
Desk buddy. It's Jack Daniels, right?
Oh, that's in my drawer. It's a white eraseboard that goes into the way of your computer so you can take notes and stuff on it.
I would end up with all that ink on.
That's why I use wet erase. You should see, I have 3 whiteboards in my office. They're probably, I think one's like 36, but like 42. They're huge. I have like grants on one, grants on one. I have 3 little pads.
And I've had sticky
It's
list.
my desk is like covered with USB. I can go to a hot room.
A little bit, I didn't say a lot, right?
We have one tie, or, the members for public land, so we need to revote on 3 people. It's tied between them right now, so it's gonna be David Goodson, Aiden Wyatt, and Deborah Boyd. So if y'all can revote, I think I have an extra ballot for everybody, and then I can give the results for everything else.
1 for 3 and
So all 3 of those tied dead even for the years. So if you can just revote on how, if you want 2 years or 3 years, I guess is that how you want to do it? So it's David Goodson, I'll tell you when everybody gets their ballot.
We don't need to,
So we just put how many years we want them to
How many
serve.
years, yeah, it tied dead even
Okay,
for half 1 and 2 and half 1.
okay, so we just need to
You
put,
just need to revote on how many years
Years
you
you
want,
want.
and we'll see whatever happens then.
so it was David, Aiden, and Deborah.
how many threes and how many
Names again,
twos?
Laura?
So it's gonna be, David Goods, it's the bottom 3, David
Okay.
Goodson, Aiden, and
I don't think
Deborah.
that
Okay.
matters. I think you just put.
And so we
what you
just
want.
need to know 2
We
or
just need
3.
to know if you want 2 or 3, we're gonna
It doesn't
revote
matter.
because all
Put
3 of
two
those
threes or two
tied dead even. So it's,
Okay.
I don't think it matters what, how many you choose. You just put what you want those 3 to
just put
serve.
if you want it to be 2 years or 3 years, and we'll see if we have a tie.
We'll find out in a minute. Find Doug's name.
I did.
Doug Max.
all three this time, and that's why I looked at it again to make sure it was right. You wanna read it?
Oh, sure.
Okay, I'll put it on there. I don't care.
Good question. I don't understand.
Thank you.
That's why we're having a time.
Is mine black? Okay, it's the-
Okay. Never mind.
that is an excellent question.
If it ends up a tie, can't we? You may have this. I don't know. It's a tie.
Need one that we can stand on.
Have an obsession with it. It's a cup. Junior high kids. Lots of
Okay, Hillary, you got that look?
So David and Deborah tie again. So what do we do?
I have a question. How can we have a tie with 5 people voting?
And you got to keep in mind, I'm the tiebreaker.
Okay, you wanna be the tiebreaker?
I'm the tiebreaker, okay? I essentially don't vote.
Did you vote?
Yeah, as a tiebreaker. You need to hold my ballot,
Okay,
okay? You hold my ballot and then use my vote to break a tie. Am I not correct, Tucker? Thank you.
let me see what your original one was then.
So, and going forward with the old BRAC board, you won't have to do this again. You won't have to assign 3
There'll
and 2.
be-
They will
'cause they'll
all
be
be
in
3.
rotation.
That's right.
Yeah.
Just so we avoid 5 coming off one year. Just a math
What's the
problem.
name of that board? Lab.
Plab,
Wow.
the appearance board. If I'm naming
Doesn't
it.
quite roll off the tongue like brag.
No,
It's actually plurb.
Harb,
Clarb, yeah.
Orb.
P-L-A or B, Clarb.
we gotta work on that.
just appearance board.
The flower board. Maybe people are running for that board.
It's catchy. Does that mean? Yes.
That's every day, all day. We serve over 100 people a day.
Steady.
What's he gonna do?
I know we should just move it to the next thing.
So then I use his for the second, so,
You read them, Hillary.
Okay.
You can do it.
well, I think what we need to do is have him just vote who, because it's still tied. So I think what we need to do is have him, because it was tied the first time, and then he just voted, which term, so I think we just have him pick who he wants to be the 2-year, because.
This is the 2-year, 3-year scenario again.
Mhm. Yeah, for David Goodson, Aiden White, and Deborah.
Okay, if you take my votes, does that break the tie?
No. Wait a minute. Hold
New
on.
math.
Hold on.
Help me, Hillary.
No, I think it's still dead even. So you need to just pick who you want, because it's still, with what I picked with the first one, it was still tied. It was 3.
I attended with Talbot. Okay. And App.
Wait a minute. No, I'm doing this, I'm sorry, I'm complicating that. Okay. I should have just looked at what you picked. That's what I needed to do.
Okay,
Okay, all right. I got it now. Sorry.
cool.
I was complicating it.
It's all right. New math.
So, hold on.
You were confusing me, Hillary.
I know, I recounted everybody and I shouldn't. Okay, so, sorry.
It's
You're
okay.
fine.
Okay, all right,
If we had to count it, all of us,
yeah.
we'd be here at midnight. Okay,
I was
you're doing a better job.
Okay, planning board is the 3 people who, applied. Gasper, I'm not gonna say his last name, Steve
Thank you.
Cohen, and then Joe Hubbard will be the ETJ. For Board of Adjustment, Stephen Schiller for full-time member, Lee Rockamora for alternate, Brandon Walker for full member, and Joe Hubbard for ETJ, Dean Bolus for TDA. For the public land appearance and recreation, so it will be Alice Race and David Goodson for 2-year terms, and Carol Knapp, Aiden Wyatt, and Deborah Boyd for 2-year terms. And then for the ABC, it will be Sylvia Tarleton. So,
All right.
Good.
Thank you to all those that put their name in the hat. It's, y'all are a very important part of the town, so thank you so very much for doing that and taking the time. So thank you. Be good, council. Would you like to make a motion to approve these members? Just for the record? Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, Kat,
Aye.
David,
Aye.
Melissa,
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
And Pete?
Aye.
Okay. Hillary, thank you for your financial expertise.
for my crazy.
Appreciate that.
It's all good.
And moving right along, let's see here. Oh, okay, official reports, comments. I would just like to say my thanks to Aaron Miller. We all know he has retired after many years of service to the town. My thanks to Aaron Miller for his contributions and all he's done. Nathan Kurt, my thanks to Nathan, throwing his name in the hat as interim police chief. Great officer, I'm sure he'll do well as interim. In closing, Charles Harden would like to acknowledge he celebrated 20 years with the Blowing Rock Chamber. And in this day and time, 20 years doing anything is pretty neat. So thank you to Charles Harden for serving the Blowing Rock Chamber of Commerce. And because
I have nothing.
I just want to echo what Kevin said about the retreat. It was a really good retreat. I thought we had productive conversations. Thank you to Kevin for his leadership during that, the department heads, the staff. Thanks for keeping us refreshed and well-fed. Thank you. But it was really good, and I appreciate everybody's efforts.
listen,
I'm good.
Doug?
Pile on the praise too, with, thanks for all the staff did for the retreat. Like to thank Lonnie Webster for the photography, getting her pictures and getting the pictures out to us.
You look good in that picture.
I took a lot of it and occupied a lot of space in it. And that was all I had.
Thank you. Pete?
Two things, Kevin, staff, great retreat. Thank you for all the hard work, really good.
Thank you.
Now the hard part, how to pay for it all. But there are smart people here will figure that out, right, Melissa? Secondly, I got a call a couple days ago from a business person that walks up and down Sunset. And the person said that a couple days ago, he observed a child coming out of the school, and there was a car coming down, and that child almost got hit. If it weren't somebody that yelled and, the child jumped back. So he's saying, why don't we have some kind of flashing yellow light warning people that this is a school zone? And David, you sort of have your office there. I don't know if you see any of that, but it's something that, and I'd mentioned this to Aaron last year, and I was going to mention it to Nathan, but Nathan's out of town, at a class. I think we really need to do something, or else we're inviting a problem.
Pete, lights were ordered. If I'm not mistaken, you'll check into it. We had, this goes back 2 years ago. And Shane, if I'm not mistaken, had ordered the lights to go on those signs. Had he not, Doug?
Yeah, because see, they used to be there. We used to have a line on each side before we get to the two crosswalks, warning about it being a school zone.
Charlie, that's great, but we need to do something.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree totally. I wondered a few times when I've been driving by there, because there's a sign and there's a solar panel up on top of the sign. But there's no lights, so
Yeah,
could you
this-
check into that, Kevin?
Be glad to.
This
Okay.
same gentleman stopped in my office. And so I've been going up there, and I think there is cause for concern. At the very least, the crosswalks need to be repainted.
yeah,
Yeah.
We need to do that, and then we need to look at getting signage and/or lights, just as Pete said.
Good.
well,
you
appreciate
check-
anything we
check
can
those?
do, because I don't want to get a call sometime and somebody say that there's a child that's been hurt. I mean, that's just wouldn't be, and especially if you're saying that Shane had order signs a couple of
I'm not
years ago.
mistaken to light it because the principal requested it. Shane said they were ordering them. And this was after the Sunset revitalization, paving and
Right.
sidewalks and so on.
I'd ask Matt if he knows.
Is Matt here?
Yeah,
Matt,
he's-
are you here?
He's in there. Yeah. He's back around there.
Matt, Matt, does that ring a bell to you?
There are signs there, and they are supposed to be lit. Honestly, if they're not working, I didn't realize that, but we can, supposed to be on timer.
Okay.
For just early morning school hours and then in the afternoon. They're not overly bright, but we can go back and check the programming on and see if for some reason they're not working. But
Yeah.
There are signs there that do have LEDs around.
Okay, we probably ought to look into some flashing lights.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that'd be
Absolutely.
a must. Could we do that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you, Pete.
Thank you.
Thank you, good point. Sir?
Nothing exciting, just one note,
The biannual municipal attorneys conference is coming up, so I'll be attending for Blowing Rock at the end of the month, last day of February, first day of March, so before the next meeting.
Okay, that'll be held.
Down in the Wonderful School of Government at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill.
Okay, very good. Sir?
I've got a few things, but I'd like for Jared to give us a brief update on the Main Street project and where that's at.
I will be brief. Work continues in the downtown core area that we have worked toward throughout the duration of the project, which started back in August, and crews have worked north up to downtown, and sewer work has begun there around Pine and Morris. And the intent is to continue sewer. It's deeper in the ground, so obviously it would go first, dig deeper first, and then when the sewer's done up to about Maple Street, they'll drop back and then complete the water on the other side of the road. Traffic and travel will be impacted. Work's either gonna be in parking spaces or traffic will be reduced to a single lane. It's really just the only feasible way to do that. At least you have one-way traffic during that time. Also, the detour of Main Street, the closure, is in place as of today. Now, that doesn't mean that buckets have been turning yet. There's a piece of equipment down there, and the barricades are in place, and that work will begin immediately. It just takes some time to mobilize in. One of my first questions for Kevin this afternoon was, have you gotten complaints? He said, no. That's good. Locals are utilizing Ransom and Cornish to some extent. Obviously, we don't want trucks to do that. The detour is primarily geared to handle truck traffic. As long as we don't have an 18-wheeler hung up down here coming off of Main onto Ransom, we'll be fine. Locals can continue to use those smaller interior routes. But otherwise, we're continuing right along with the Main Street project.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Boom Radio has corrected that. I heard they've announced it 3 or 4 times today that they just had it being closed on one day. And they announced today the correction that it would be closed through Thursday.
Yeah, I emailed Kenneth. I heard it yesterday. I said, wait a minute.
Yeah.
He made honest mistake. He fixed that.
Thank you, Jared.
Report to you that the Blowing Rock Academy, we see the finish line. It is there. We are waiting on the state to provide our licensing number. And so we're in the last stages of the process to get that open. So that's good and that's exciting. We've just about checked all the boxes. I want to thank the street crew, Matt and his guys, for the snow removal over the last month. And there probably will be some more, but they've done a great job addressing the snowstorms and things that we've been getting, the ice and all that. And then I want to let you know there'll be a community group utilizing Town Hall for an hour or so on Saturday. And with that, we don't really have a current policy on how we address that for community groups to use that. So I suggest to you that staff come up with a policy that you can adopt officially, that we either incorporate into the town code or that we have some kind of resolution that we can point back to as we go forward. So if you're okay with that, we'd like to do that.
Kevin, what did you decide on the voting location? Is that for the primary, the March primary?
That was done last year.
Yeah, that was done last year, and that was the county.
Right,
That's
okay.
county driven.
All right.
They picked the site. Am I not correct?
Right.
Guys?
Right.
Well, there was a time it was at the community center. There was a time it was here too, but then we moved it to the community center because there was no real use for it. And then with the academy, we had to move to the American Legion. And for the primary, it's going to be there. We may look at the general election and maybe make a move, and it might be back here. Right. But I need to talk with the Board of Elections to see if that's a possibility, because there's a lot of time that the American Legion is not available. And the fall is a prime time for utilizing that for events and weddings and things like that. So the primary will be at the American Legion, early voting and all that, and potentially if there's a second primary needed, we may look at the general election in the fall to be here.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I think, didn't we decide unless it's a town election, we're not doing early voting because of the cost factor? Correct.
That is all I had.
Okay. All right, council, we will take a short break. Citizens, we're going to go into closed session after the break to discuss some minor matters, and then we will adjourn after that. No decisions should be made during that closed session strictly for informational purposes under North Carolina General
North
Statute.
Carolina General Statute 143-318.11.
3.113, correct, Doug? Okay.
Three.
Okay. All right. We will adjourn for 10 minutes. Is that okay, guys?
Yes.
Gals?
Yes.
Okay. So I can.